With this video, let us discuss about some other topic. What is life? You all are leading your life. I'm leading my life. So to understand a little more about life, let us understand what is lifespan. How would you describe lifespan? I would explain like this. Lifespan is the period from birth to the natural death of an organism. So, span here refers to a duration or a period. And that period may be, for us, not more than 100 years. We are born, our mother gives birth to us, and at last we have to die. So the time period from our birth to death is lifespan. So try to answer this question. How long lifespan could be for organisms? They are diverse living organisms. Some are unicellular, some are multicellular. Among the multicellular living organisms, we have plants, animals, different types of animals. So lifespan could be as short as few days or as long as few thousand years. We are generalizing the answer. So look at this table. This is about approximate lifespans of some organisms. If you look at the first, fruit fly can live for 40 to 50 days. Rice plants is used to cultivate for 3 to 7 months. Within 7 months, rice plant give us rice. Dogs can survive for 10 to 13 years, and there's different plants, say like banana tree, which can survive for 25 years. Parrot can live for 140 years. Tortoise 100 to 150 years. And it is interesting to know that banyan tree can survive for 200 years. Though banyan tree can survive for 200 years, without reproduction, they can't continue their species on planet Earth. So reproduction is important. So chapter 1 is about reproduction in organisms. So first, let us try to define what is reproduction. Reproduction is defined as a biological process in which an organism gives rise to young ones similar to itself. Any term ending with ion as suffix are processes. So re here refers to again. Production here refers to making copies. So reproduction is production of something again and again, and the term is ending with ion. So it is a process, and we called it biological process. And in this biological process, an organism is producing young one or offspring, or we say daughters, son. In case of water lily, it gives rise to water lily. In case of elephants, mother elephant give rise to baby elephant. Our mothers usually give birth to baby. So why reproduction is important? Reproduction ensures continuity of species. All the species existing on this planet Earth are not undergoing extinction because of reproduction. Sexual reproduction leads to variation. Your father and mothers are different, and you are a little bit different from your parents. So sexual reproduction is giving rise to some differences. Variations after undergoing, say like thousands of years, one day variation will bring evolution. we were said to be originated from apes. Now, if we look at the features of apes and us, we are different. Why? Because of evolution. Or because of variation leading to evolution. So, reproduction is important for continuation of species and for bringing evolution. Now, what are the factors which affect reproduction? Organisms' habitat. Those organisms which are surviving in harsh condition, they need to reproduce more offspring. In case of aquatic fishes, they need to produce more fishes. But for us, we humans don't reproduce much. Terrestrial animals hardly reproduce much offsprings. Another factor that is affecting reproduction is internal physiology of the organism. Internal physiology here refers to working of internal organs. If the internal organs of an organism is not working properly, then there will be no reproduction occurring. A father and mother having weak internal organ or damaged internal organ, they can't reproduce offspring. Now, what are the types of reproduction? Reproduction can be asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction. Let us try to understand the differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. So this table is about comparison of asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. First, let us try to understand what is asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, similar offsprings are produced by a single parent. Fusion of gametes is not happening. There is no fertilization of gametes. Asexual reproduction is common among unicellular organisms and in lower plants and animals. For example, budding in yeast or yeast. Sexual reproduction, in contrast to asexual reproduction, offspring produced are dissimilar and offsprings are produced by two opposite sex parents. Fertilization of male and female gametes occur. Fertilization here refers to combination of male and female gametes. Sexual reproduction is common among higher plants and animals. For example, reproduction in hibiscus or China rose. China rose is having beautiful flower, and in the flower we have male and female reproductive organ. So hibiscus reproduced by sexual reproduction. Combination of male gametes and female gametes occurs in hibiscus. We humans reproduce by sexual reproduction. So let us look briefly into sexual reproduction in flowering plants. The first stage of reproduction in flowering plant is sporogenesis. Sporo here refers to spores. Genesis here refers to formation. Any term ending with sis, s suffix, is process. So sporogenesis is formation of spores, which indirectly refers to male and female gametes. Sporogenesis may be microsporogenesis in stamen. Stamen is male reproductive organ in flower. Microsporogenesis is indirectly a process of production of microspores or pollen grain. Pollen grain is having male gametes. Megasporogenesis is process of production of egg. egg in flower is larger than male gametes. So microspore is pollen, megaspore is egg. So sporogenesis is production of egg and pollen. After the production of microspores from anther of stamen, it is transferred to stigma of pistil. So inside the ovary we have megaspore or egg. So transferring of male gametes from male reproductive organ to female reproductive organ is pollination. Pollens are being transferred from male reproductive organ to female reproductive organ. After pollination, double fertilization occurs. Double fertilization is fusion of male and female gametes. Along with that, there is triple fusion occurring in flower. We'll discuss about these different technical descriptions in another chapter called Reproduction in Flowering Plants. So don't be tensed with the difficulty in understanding the concepts. After double fertilization, embryogenesis occurs. Embryo is formed. Embryo is mainly composed of endosperm and embryo. Embryo is being nurtured by endosperm. So to develop embryo, we require endosperm. After embryogenesis, there is development of seed and fruit. Seed is developed from ovules in the ovary and fruit is developed from ovary. Now let us try to understand sexual reproduction in animals. In animals, first, say in case of human, gametogenesis occurs. Gameto refers to gametes, male and female gametes. So genesis here refers to production. So in case of female, we have egg or ovum. So oogenesis occurs in female and spermatogenesis occurs in male. So first, male and female gametes are produced by process of gametogenesis, which may be oogenesis in female and spermatogenesis in male. After production of gametes, male gametes are transferred into the reproductive system of female. So for the transfer we call insemination. Insemination is transfer of male gametes into the reproductive tract of female. After the transfer or after insemination of male gametes or particularly sperm, there is fertilization occurring. Fertilization is fusion of male and female gametes. So after fertilization, there is zygote formation. Zygote keeps on dividing to form embryo, and the embryogenesis will later form fetus, and fetus will be delivered as baby. So delivery or birth of baby is called parturition. So we have looked briefly into the sexual reproduction of plants and animals. We'll study about sexual reproduction in animals, particularly human. Second chapter is about sexual reproduction in flowering plants, and the third chapter is about sexual reproduction in human. So we'll try to discuss about all these details in the coming chapters. Now, with this video, you should try to answer some questions. So these questions have to be done in your home. First question is you need to define what is reproduction. Second, mention the importance of reproduction. Third, how do organisms reproduce asexually? Fourth, how do flowering plants reproduce sexually? Now, fifth, how do animals reproduce sexually? Till then, take care. Bye.